Hey, welcome back to the Welsh Wire. I'm Sheri Welsh, and I'm so glad to be here with you today. Our special guest today is Mary Jo Baweja. Mary Jo owns Blank Canvas Consulting. It's a fairly new business she started recently. She's got some great stories and information to share, and really cool information about a new program that she's getting going. But first, let's have Mary Jo introduce herself to our listeners. And Mary Jo, welcome, by the way. Welcome to the Welsh Wire.
Thank you. Thank you.
Share with our listeners.
Thanks.
Yeah, you bet. Share with our listeners a little bit, Mary Jo, about your background. I mean, take us back to the beginning. Like, what did you do? What were the things that brought you to this place where you're at today to own this great new company?
Great. Thank you. Thank you. Glad to be here. Yeah, I have a checkered past. I joke, I tell people I spent 10 years on a psych unit and 2 years in a county jail, but that was as a therapist. I always have to clarify that.
Glad you did that, but oh wow, but you saw a lot through that, right?
Yeah. So that's where my career started, in inpatient psych and outpatient psych. So I'm a clinical psychologist by training, and over the years through osmosis, I've obtained a lot of organizational psychology skills as well. So I like to blend those skills with what I do today. But it started back there, and then I discovered the world of employee assistance programs, and that's why I learned kind of the importance of consulting and educating leaders on how to recognize when people are struggling and dealing with people who are having difficult issues. So did that for a lot of years in my employee assistance work. And then evolved into working purely in career transition or outplacement, which is wonderful, rewarding work when you see somebody kind of at the bottom on the day that they lose their job, and then to watch them evolve out into that next role is very gratifying. So after doing all of those things for a number of years, many years with other businesses, I decided it was time to stop working for the man and really be able to use my creativity and my passion. I'm passionate when I work individually with somebody and I see them grow, and I see them learn something by talking through it, and I know we've had a long-term change. When I see that, I'm very gratified, and that's all I need. So it was all that experience that led me to say, I'm going to start doing this myself. Blank canvas is because when you're helping somebody grow, it's good to think about, let's start with a blank canvas, and you can go anywhere, be anywhere. So that's kind of the evolution of it to today.
I love that. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, and your story is interesting, and I do love the way you've taken and blended, as you say, so much of your background and evolved it into a business that can really make a difference in the lives of people, right?
Yes.
And I hear what you're saying about the impact that you can have in folks' lives when you're doing counseling with them, when you're doing, career transition work with them, outplacement work with them, working with employee assistance programs. I mean, you're working with people at some really pivotal times in their lives and helping them discover and find their own solutions for what comes next, which is so cool.
Absolutely. For me, it's like when somebody says to me, I never looked at it like that before. I'm just like, bingo, mic drop, because the minute you have a perceptual change, you don't look at things the same way ever again. When your perception changes, the way you respond to something is going to change, and then your behavior is going to change. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
It is. Yeah. It is indeed. And so rewarding. So you've launched this great business. You and I were catching up and talking about it, and you were telling me all about it, which I think is so exciting. I mean, anytime someone launches a business, I think it's exciting, right? But I love what you're doing, because I can relate to that, right? I mean, in a small way, we do pieces of that when we help people find their dream roles, right? With our clients.
Yeah.
But in particular, what we want to chat about today is this fantastic new program that you've started as a part of your business, which candidly, I've never known anything like this, ever heard of anything like this. And I think it's so amazing, and the time is so right for it. You call this new program Career Evolution for Women. So tell us a little bit about the program. Let's start with like, what was the inspiration for it? Tell us how it was born.
Yeah, yeah. So an associate of mine is a financial advisor, and a good share of her book of business is women. So I have to give her credit. This was her brainchild. Her name's Andrea Karsten. And Andrea approached
Shout
me
out to
one-
Andrea.
Right, yes. So Andrea approached me one day and she said, Mary Jo, this is what I'm seeing in my practice. I'm seeing women who are quote unquote old enough to retire, whatever that is, have the financial means to retire, but can't get themselves there. And I see this, they wait too long, they don't go out gracefully often. And her theory, and I've since learned in doing the research to put this together, women, we don't have generations of role models retiring after our big careers and moving on to other things. Men have been doing this for generations. They've got role models. Women don't have that. And what I also discovered is the needs and that women need when they evolve out of their career. How do they have those needs met? What is their career doing for them? It's different than in men. So we decided, putting together a group that gives women the education, the resources, the tools, the emotional support that they need to evolve into the next phase of their career. We're not talking, you're going to go get a rocking chair now and sit on your porch and watch the cars go by.
Right.
It's about leaving that high pressure cooker role that you've been in for a number of years and moving on into something that you're passionate about and something you still feel value. So we decided to put together something to help women figure out how to get there.
I love that. I love that you made a comment that your friend shared that these women just can't get themselves there. So you mentioned some of the obstacles, right? They don't have any, well, I guess some of the barriers really. I mean, they don't have role models, they don't have any to help them. But what do you think really gets in the way? They can't see their next move. They stay too long. I mean, specifically, what do you think gets in the way? Because there may be some women who are listening right now are saying, I think that's me and my issue is X. What have you seen as some of the things that are stoppers for them specifically?
Yeah. One of the first things is financial. It was surprising to me how many women really don't know the full depth and breadth of their financial situation. If they're married, they rely on their spouse to take care of it, and they or if they're not, they just trust their financial advisor, but they haven't dug deeply enough into it to feel confident. So that financial confidence in that I am in good shape financially is one of the first barriers.
And I can, I can see that because I talk to people too who say the same thing, like, I'm saving, I'm throwing money into my 401k. How much is enough? I don't know. I don't think it's enough. 62, 65, 68. I'm not really sure. I think you hit on something really key there, which is so critical to helping to make a good decision about the timing of that, right? Because when you can feel secure financially, exactly, then you can start to see possibilities. So once they see that, then what are the other things that kind of hold them back? Yeah, the other things are about my value. Women, we obtain a lot of our value through our careers, through our roles. We're nurturers. My career is my baby. So first of all, am I confident, again, that I'm handing my baby off in good hands? So have I set my legacy up well? So, we talk about, you should really be looking 2 years down the road. If you're in a career, you've built something, you should set your retirement date for 2 years down the road and then start putting together who's going to take care of that baby when you leave, so that you feel confident that baby's in good shape. And then it's, what's my identity going to be? How am I gonna still fulfill who I am, how I bring value? One of the things that we all have is we all have needs, and needs drive our behaviors. So helping women look at
what needs do you have, and how can those needs still be met as you evolve out of this role? So creating that roadmap that they can visualize and they can see. So again, it's like a three-legged stool of confidence. It's financial, it's my legacy, and it's who I'm going to be when I leave this role. So having confidence in those three areas is key.
That is fantastic. And I can see why you and Andrea need to bring those pieces together in this program to make it all work. That is terrific. So describe what the program is like. I mean, what could women expect if they were to participate in a program like this? How does it work?
Yeah. So we created it as a cohort model, meaning all the women start at the same time and go through all the phases of the group together. And the reason we created it as a cohort model is one of the things we found out in our research. When you leave your role, you leave behind a great part of your community. It's all good intentions. We all say, yes, we'll stay in touch, we'll get together for lunch. But the women, the people you leave behind when you leave your role, they're still working. And you're moving on to other things. Your schedule
life changes.
So, yeah, exactly. So having that cohort model is designed with the goal in mind that you create a new cohort, you create a new community. Now you create a new community of women who are in the same boat you are, and dealing with some of the same things. So we start with we build some fun and education into this. So we start with a dinner meeting. So we meet over dinner, so we have a good meal and good wine. And in that first
wine always helps.
Wine's key. Wine is key. In that first meeting, Andrea covers that piece about how to trust your financial advisor when he or she says you really can retire. So what's some calculations you can do? What are some things you can build in? Because you need that confidence within yourself. Then I talk about, everybody takes a personality assessment called the predictive index. And we review the predictive index identifies, again, your needs. You have a need for speed, a need for structure, a need for flexibility, a need for socialization. Those needs are still going to be there when you leave this role. So we talk about those needs and get them thinking about how they're going to get those needs met. Then I talk about the phases of retirement, everything from that excitement and elation at the beginning when you put that date in the sand and say you're going to go, to that despair when the honeymoon is over and you're in the drudges. What am I going to do? So we talk about those phases, educate about those phases. What are some tips to get through each of those phases? Then we have another woman was a senior level human resources professional for her entire career, retired about 3 or 4 years ago, and she shares her journey.
Oh, cool.
How I got to this point, how I knew it was time for me to go, and what I experienced, good, bad, and ugly, when I initially retired. And then we ask every woman, now let's make a commitment. Now that we've had this conversation, think of 1 or 2 things you can do towards your retirement date. So from there, we do a couple breakfast meetings where we don't have an agenda over that 90 days, just bringing that cohort together, talking about our commitments, re-educating on some of the things that we've talked about, sharing ideas, supporting each other, testing ideas with each other. And then we culminate it with another dinner meeting at the end of the 90 days. And we talk about steps towards, again, your financial plan. I talk about building your community. And then we have a couple professionals in healthcare and beauty come in and talk about vitality.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, that's a really, really, really interesting conversation as well. So those are kind of the topics and the highlights. If they want to work more in depth and work more individually with me one-on-one during that 90 days, we offer that too. But the goal is really to get them to work with each other, learn from each other, learn some of these expectations and begin to put their plan in place.
That's fantastic. And you have done this program a few times now. Twice you've run it, right? You're working on your third.
And now we're actually working on our second now, but we had a Yeah, we had a very successful cohort in May. We had 8 women in that cohort in May. So it was very well.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Without, I mean, leaving names out to protect the innocent, can you share some stories of success?
Yeah.
An example
Yeah.
of what someone experienced as a result of going through this. I'd love to
Yeah.
hear it.
One of the first things that gave me goosebumps, and it still does, was we put these 8 women together in a room over dinner, and they didn't know each other. Before the night was over, they were like, "You're gonna send us everybody's contact info, right? So we can stay in touch with each other." So I knew we hit a home run there.
Yes.
And they're keeping going. But one of the women had recently, she and her husband had owned a business together, and they had recently sold the business, and she was feeling a little bit like, hey, I don't know what's next. And so through this, at the end, she was able to say, you know what, I don't have to have a title, and it's okay. When people say, what are you doing in your retirement? And I say, I'm experimenting, I'm playing, I'm thinking of things. It's okay now. It's
Yes, it
okay to
is.
not go 900 miles an hour. So she went from feeling kind of lost and really isolated to it's okay to go slow. It's okay to do nothing. When I last heard from her, she and her sister were on a trip in Paris. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's
put that
awesome.
together. But just seeing her go from that, she looked a little shell shocked in the very beginning. And in the end, she was like driving, just like I've got this. It was really, really gratifying to see.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I mean, and to really be free from that burden of, I don't know what's next, to like embracing it and really being free financially to have time and space to just investigate and try different things and see what comes up. I mean, when you're a career driven, achieving female CEO, your whole career is, as you say, 100 miles an hour with your hair on fire, right?
Right.
When you get to that point and you have to slow down and you now have time to like think, explore, it feels so foreign. But it sounds like you create an environment where they not only learn how to do that, but they're embraced by a community of others who are learning how to do that and can support them as they explore and figure out what comes next. I mean, it's so cool, Mary Jo.
It's very gratifying and very interesting. One of the things we do is within this group, you can't introduce yourself with your title. You can't say, I'm Sheri Welsh, CEO. You can't say that. You have to introduce yourself in another way so that you can begin to change that identity a little bit. So
Get it. That is fantastic. And you are getting another cohort ready to go, correct?
Yes.
You have a program starting, is it right after Labor Day, correct?
Yep. Yeah, we're going to start it right after Labor Day. We just got to get some dates set with where we're going to have the dinner meetings, and then we'll put that out there. Yep. So it'll be shortly after Labor Day. Yep, will be our next cohort.
Okay. And you meet in the Grand Rapids area. Do you meet in the same place every time, or?
Yeah, we've met at one of my favorite little spots, Cooper's Hawk. They've got a really nice private dining room, so and they've got a great wine selection. So yeah, we may meet there again. We may look at some other, but I like us to be able to meet in a room where we can have some privacy, because that conversation and vulnerability is key. So and then for breakfast meetings we kind of bop around. But yeah. We typically do that in the Grand Rapids area right now.
Okay, great. So for anyone who's listening who thinks that's me, right, or knows somebody, right, that needs to know about this, that program is starting right after Labor Day, a 90-day program. I am just so excited to be able to share this with our listeners. If they wanted to get more information from you, Mary Jo, or perhaps say like, yep, that's me, I got to sign up, I got to do this, send them to your website, the easiest way to sign up.
Yeah. They can go to my website, and that's blankcanvasmi.com. So blankcanvasmi.com, or they can email me, and it's maryjo@blankcanvasmi.com. So either way, yep, there's a descriptor of it on the website, or they can email me for more information. But yeah, we'd love to. And if we need to run 2 or 3 cohorts simultaneously, we're equipped to do that. So we like to keep the cohorts like at no more than 12 to keep that intimate connection together. But we can do them. We can do multiple. If I have to be at Cooper's Hawk 3 nights a week drinking wine, I guess that's a sacrifice I'll make to make that impact on the people that need it at this point. So yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. I know you would, and I know you're already making impact. I love the story that you shared from your last cohort from that first round. And as I said, I wanted to share this out because I do believe there are so many women in that stage of life, maybe because I'm approaching it myself, right? I can really identify with what they might be going through. And I think that you have really met a unique need that's not being filled right here in West Michigan. And I'm so excited, as I said, to share this out. So listeners, again, if you need to get a hold of Mary Jo, you know somebody that needs to sign up, you need to sign up for this. It's blankcanvasmi.com. Mary Jo Baweja, thank you so much for being our guest today on the Welsh Wire. We've really enjoyed hearing about your new program, Career Evolution for Women.
Thanks, Sheri. Thanks for the opportunity to spread the word. I appreciate it very much. So thank you.